Hey! Hello, Torchlight fans. Thank you so much for joining us for this November 8th dev stream. Quick round of introductions. I am Jared, PW Sofetch, the community manager for Perfect World, and with me is Tyler. He is the extra project lead on Torchlight Frontiers. Cool. So we are here. We got some really cool stuff to show you guys. We're going to be covering relic weapons and forts and some other cool stuff in between. So Tyler, why don't you go ahead and just give us kind of a brief overview of all the cool stuff that we've seen in the past and what you think we're going to be seeing today.
Yeah, so we announced the game back at the end of August at Gamescom, and we were also at PAX West. We showed people about 15-minute experience there. It was a little snippet of the game. Since then, we've made a few announcements about how the game works. We've talked about what we call horizontal progression, this idea that we have these different frontiers in the game that are separate areas to gain power in, that you can kind of switch between, like changing channels to have a new experience and a new area to progress in and new things to chase after, which lets us keep adding new frontiers over time, where there's new places for anyone to play. Even if you've just started the game or whether you've been there a long time, a new frontier should be something for everyone to enjoy. And then in the meantime, we did a stream on that. We showed it all in the game through this. We answered a bunch of questions about it. And in the meantime, we've announced some things. We've announced that we have this thing called a Relic Weapon, and we're going to talk about those a lot today. And we also talked about our forts, and we announced that. And we've done that all in Discord. We did the big announcements in Reddit. We've answered a bunch of questions there, but today we can talk about them live, show them in the game live, and get into the nitty-gritty details.
Excellent. So if you guys haven't seen already, maybe after the stream, go ahead and check out our ARC blogs where we go into details about relic weapons and forts. We're probably going to cover most, if not all of that stuff today here live on the stream. But if you forget, then you can definitely go back and watch the VoD, or you can check out some of the concept art that we have in those blog posts as well.
And just to cover the really big basis for all of you who might be pretty new to seeing this game and what's going on with it, this is an action RPG based on the Torchlight franchise. It's the next big Torchlight game. It's online, and it's scheduled to come out on PC in 2019 and on consoles after that. We've announced that we're going to do Xbox One and PlayStation 4. We keep getting asked about Switch. We don't have an answer yet for Switch. And we have not announced our monetization strategy. That's kind of the broad picture of what we are and what we're making. We're a new company called Ectro, made up of some people from Runic, some people from Blizzard North, all working together to make this new game.
Cool. All right, so I think everybody's getting eager to actually see some content. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into the forts. Boom, here we go. Okay, so I put this fort together. I like to make like little zoos type things, so I just have like a block of something, a block of something, a block of something. So this is my fort. It's not complete. I just made a little section here. So as you can see, there's a portal. You can start with the waypoint portal, which you can teleport to from out in the world and also from town. So all of the little pieces here can be positioned. Yeah. So actually, let's start with a little bit of the crafting first. Do you think we should start up here at the Arcanum?
Let me just talk really broadly about the fort. The fort is this thing that you share across all the characters to your account. This is your account level progression place. It's a place you can also decorate. I mean, just as Jared started out talking about how he made it and what it looks like, it's a place for creative expression. It's a place where you can build stuff, arrange it, and place it and make it your own and look the way you want it to look like. It also has a bunch of objects that let you do stuff that has gameplay impact, real substantial gameplay impact. You'll be coming back to here, just like you come back to town, you should also be coming back to your fort, and ideally you're coming back to both a few times every session. And we haven't made the fort replace town, and we haven't had town replace the fort, but they're both part of your game. We're gonna walk through some of the pieces of your fort and some of the things you could do in it, but broadly, this is kind of where you at an account level are showing how you're advancing your character and characters in your account. And it's a thing other people will see in the world and visit. As you play through the game, you will run through levels that have a fort off of it from other players.
Right on. So everybody's fort is going to be different, right? So this is my own personal little unique area. I spent a couple hours putting this together. It was incredibly fun, man. I went home last night and I was putting this together. It's so sick that I'm able to create just something that's totally fresh and I can move everything around. If I don't like the position of something, I can change it, and my friends' forts are going to be different. My friends can come over and check out my fort, and I can show them that my fort's better than theirs, and then they can try to up their game, but my fort's always going to be better. But okay, so like you mentioned, this is going to be shared across your account.
Yeah.
So actually, let's go up here. Can I click on this guy?
Yeah.
Right on.
So the shared stash is one of the main things you'll want to hit often probably in your fort, and that's where you can store things that you can transfer from character to character. We have just one tab showing here. We plan on having more tabs and doing more with this, but we've got it functional to this point, and this is where we'll be able to get it.
Yep. Sweet. Okay. So I'm really excited to show them these two pieces here.
Right. Yeah. So
can we talk about the arcane?
So we have. So you have your account stash. So that's the one we show. Next, we're showing the skill objects. So each of our character classes has an object in your fort that you can use to kind of help advance that class. And so if you'll click on the one here we're looking at is for the forged. That's kind of the ember crystal that powers the forge, and you'll see a lot of kind of a bunch of steampunky machinery around, and that's where the forged advanced stuff. And then on the right you can see the arcanum, and both of these are very low level, have not been updated or advanced much, but you can see in the arcanum already that you've got some of that, like that carpet's all kind of dark and evilly, and another part that's clean and light, and that's trying to show that kind of inner struggle that the dusk mages have between dark and light, already kind of going on in this object. And when we click on it, this is where you can see how you get skills and how skills work, which is something I know a lot of you guys have been curious about and wondering how it's going to work. And since we're showing this object, I think it's a good way to kind of unroll some of how that's going to happen.
So do note, this is still pre-alpha build.
Yes.
So all of this is subject to change.
Yes.
We're just really excited to be able to finally have it in a spot where we can show you guys. So yeah, nothing here is locked in, still pre-alpha, but you kind of get an idea, a little bit of a concept of what we're trying to go for with this. So we can see here, these are the active skills.
Right. And so as you play the game, in Torchlight Frontiers, we don't have levels. Instead, we have a skill. One of the things that replaces some of the function of character levels is skill points. And you go out there killing monsters, and skill points occasionally drop, and you pick them up. In the upper right-hand corner, there's an SP with a number next to it, and that's showing how many skill points he's already got. And it's so big of a number, I think he's cheated.
So we totally cheated to
get
that
that many. He's been cheating, and the number doesn't even fit on the UI. We'll have to work on that. But that allows you then to unlock some of these skills. And on the left, you can see it says how many of the active skills you have unlocked and how much it costs to get another active skill. And so if we look here, like let's unlock one of them. We'll unlock Luminous Run.
Boom.
And so now he has that skill. He can equip it to his skill bar.
There it is.
And he's kind of got the first one. That only costs like 50 skill points, which is a reasonable thing to be able to get to pretty early in the game. But now that he's unlocked one skill, now the next skill costs more.
Ah, I see. Yeah, the last one was 50 and this one's 100.
And
so it scales up.
Yeah, so it scales up, and that means that in our current system, it lets you unlock just about any skill you want and what order you want, but the costs go up as you unlock skills, making it harder to just have everything, and so that you are making choices and committing to a strategy as you keep going.
That's great. Should we go to some of the tabs here,
so
or should we talk about the level?
We can go to some of the tabs. So actually, let's go to the level. That's true. So he has a level 1 Arcanum here. That building that we clicked on to bring up this UI is the Arcanum, and it's only level 1, which means that some of these skills are locked across your account. And when you level this up for your account, you unlock these skills for all your characters. And so this allows you to this is something for you to work towards, is leveling up your Arcanum to get to some of the higher end skills. And then maybe with another character, just start by unlocking those first, like in whatever order you wanted to unlock them. So that's some of the active skills here. We're not done making skills. He's got just a few of them.
So we can go up here to the upgrade tab.
And this is where you can upgrade the building. So many buildings within your fort can be upgraded for various reasons. And in this case, you're upgrading the skill buildings to unlock skills. And he's already got a ridiculous amount of resources. Again,
we cheated.
But you can click upgrade, and then you'll get...
Ooh, whoa, look at that.
So now it looks better. It looks like a different building. It's got cooler stuff on it, and there's and now some additional skills have been unlocked at the account level.
Ah, yeah. See, Dark Spears is now available.
Now Dark Spears is available, and it still costs 100 skill points. It's still that cost for unlocking that second skill that you additional skill you're unlocking does keep going up, but now it can unlock if he wants Dark Spears.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
So so those are the active skills. Those are the skills you actually slot into your bar of things that you can click. Passive skills, we also have slots for those, and it has a similar principle. If you unlocking them, the cost of unlocking an additional one goes up, but one of the differences with these passive skills is that they actually also level up. So far, the way we have it is that the active skills, you just unlock them and use them, and they just are what they are, and then there are these passive skills that you can slot in, and we are making some passive skills directly impact an active skill. So if you wanted to be all about or just emphasize a particular active skill, the way we're giving you that ability is through a passive skill that relates to it. I don't think you have any here for the Dusk Mage yet. We did some for the Forged.
We do have
opposing forces, which is kind of a way to play with your meta mechanic as a Dusk Mage, where your light and dark powers kind of buff each other and make each other stronger. So, and that's kind of that's another one you can unlock. And these actually go up quite a few levels. So they actually go up. Most of them, I think, go to 20 levels of being able to put in skill points and to power these up. So he's unlocked in opposing forces. He can level up some more if you want. And you can see kind of the numbers going up some.
Ooh, that's great.
But maybe not on
Don't
this
get
one.
Too high.
That one doesn't look like it's working. I think other ones do. We just put those in recently.
Good.
And then you could go and equip that skill. So if you want to go.
There we go. We'll go to skills.
Someone's asking if skill points are tied to counts of the character. The skill points are per character. Skill point is relative, is showing the advancement and work that character has done. And then someone else is pointing out that skill point cost is not increasing. The leveling up of a passive skill does not increase in cost. It's unlocking an additional passive skill that increases in cost.
So I think I actually have to hit in order for this passive to take effect.
You don't,
So we'll see a little bit of that once we're out in the world.
Exactly. So opposing forces only works when you do damage. So we have a bunch of other passive skills we've put in recently. A lot of these are related to either just general strength stuff like poison resist or hitting harder and damage in general. Some of them are really tied directly to a weapon type, like if you want to be about staves or swords or things like that. Some of them are about shields. So there's a whole bunch of kind of different ways you can strategize your character with your character.
Excellent.
And so the poison one, in fact, is an example of one that is actually really good for one frontier, but not for another one. So you might buy that one on a character you really want to emphasize the Hivid, the kind of the bug insect place, but maybe not for a character. You're just going to want to play with goblins there.
And we can switch out our passives just like we can our actives, correct?
Right. You have 3 slots. We did a limited number of slots, so you're making choices with your character, and we could give you really meaty passives that have a big impact on the game because you have a limited number of them that you can equip.
That's great. So if you find like a mace that you're really liking, then you can just equip the mace passive, but then if you find a weapon that's better, or maybe you decide you don't like the mace, then you can unequip that passive. Maybe you want to go with the poison one because you're going to the Hive Frontier.
Right.
So a lot of flexibility there in your build.
Right, both to your equipment, to your skills, and to what frontier you're playing in. The passives can play a role in strategizing around several different axes.
Excellent. So I clicked on this a little bit early, but I think this is a good transition time to talk about the gear, how you kind of get this gear affinity or attunement.
So yeah, the idea here is as you keep playing along in a frontier, you're going to spend skill points leveling up your ability to equip items in that frontier. So you can upgrade the Hivid armor or Hivid weapons, and this allows you to carry higher level Hivid armor or higher level Hivid weapons. We're not seeing the Goblin ones in the UI now because I think he's maxed them out.
I've already maxed them out.
He's already maxed them out on this character because he's wearing really high-end gear already.
Yeah.
But this allows you to carry more and more stuff. So as you progress along a frontier, one of the things you'll be spending skill points on is just being able to equip the additional items that you're picking up with that character.
Sweet. And I think we can go to completed here and see all the completed ones. So yes, I do have a max level goblin armor.
Right.
Because I cheat.
Yeah.
And we got ourselves hooked up with that. And then of course attack and holy bolt and Unholy Bolts are just starting skills that you get with your character.
You get those
and then,
automatically.
Yeah, we just watched, I unlocked Luminous Run and Dark Spears.
Right.
So here, these ones we have completed. They're active, and we can use these and slot them onto our character.
So people are asking about re-rolling skills and refunding and stuff. We're talking about that. I think with this system where the costs go up and you're spending skill points, one thing we're considering but we haven't implemented or decided to do is to let you unlearn a skill so you kind of go back and don't have to pay, like since the costs keep going up, with each skill that you unlock, if you unlearn a skill, that cost would go down to switch to the next one. We may not, we won't refund the points is the idea, but the idea would be at least you could kind of change your decision and not have to keep paying an ever increasing cost to buy the next skill.
That's great. So if you pick something on accident,
or your
little brother picks something, or you don't like it.
Yeah, if you got Luminous Run, you decided you didn't like it, you paid, because these costs get up to like you paid 500 skill points for it, say, as your fourth skill or so. You could be like, I didn't like Luminous Run. Let me I don't want to pay 1,000 for the next one. Let me undo it, and then if I buy this other one, it's going to cost me 500 instead of cost me 1,000 to get that next one.
Cool. So let me go ahead and slot this one. Where is it? Here we go. Swift-footed. This is really fun. I played this before. So another thing we note is that there's the level 3 Arcanum, which we just upgraded, and then this is the Forge's skill upgrade slot.
Right.
So this is my shared account-wide fort.
Right.
Even though I'm not on the Forge, I'm on the Dust Mage,
right.
you can still have this in here.
Oh, absolutely.
So
you need
when
to.
I switch characters, then you're still able to have the entirety of all the time I've invested on the Dust Mage, and then I re-roll and I want to play a Forge now, then I still have everything here, and the Forge can still upgrade.
Absolutely. And even if you bring in, and also if you bring in another Dust Mage, if you want to play a different style, you want to commit to a different set of skills, you've already could have unlocked some of those higher level or more advanced skills for the Dust Mage and just start there. You could have those be what that character's about. So what we're trying to do is a compromise between, hey, we've got all these toys of these active skills that are all fun to play with. Let's make them available, but let's also make it where you're making commitments and strategies as you're going through and playing. And so it's both you making choices and having a lot of choices available.
That's great.
Okay.
Cool. So we got a bunch of other buildings. You want to go ahead and tackle some of these? We got Sawmill, Smelter, and Stonemason. And then lastly, we'll cover the Reliquary, which transitions into the Relic Weapons.
Someone's still asking about how the about how the skill points are spent and stuff. When you level one spell. The spell is still 50 points. People will abuse that. Okay, so the idea is all these active skills are really balanced so that they're kind of equivalent, although some of them are through a couple unlocks of the building, but it's not like we've said or designed them to be, well, this one is really supposed to be a lot more powerful than this other one. We're just kind of making it where you unlock them as you go and upgrade the buildings so you get access to more of them. And so we're not going to necessarily say that this one's cheaper than that one. However, what we're doing instead is saying that as you add skills, you're increasing in power because you're getting more versatility, you're able to layer cooldowns on top of each other, and you're able to kind of have more things that work together. And so we're increasing the cost as you add additional skills.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I do see some questions about customizing the fort.
Yeah.
Let's hit a couple of these buildings first, and then we'll go into the customization.
So a lot of how you customize comes from this. These are some of our main crafting buildings that take one kind of resource, the resources you find out in the world by chopping down trees, breaking up rocks, mining for ore, and turn them into another resource that is refined. And these actually take calendar time. These times are still temporary. We're still talking about changing those and making some of them much longer.
Again, still pre-alpha.
It's still pre-alpha, so a lot of tuning is
all the
subject
numbers
to change.
can change.
Yeah, but the idea here is there are some resource costs that for both building some things in your decorating your fort and for some things that advance your character and give you power. Some of these things take calendar time to happen, and you use these objects in your fort to do it, and then you can go away. In some cases, the time is short enough that you can come back within the same session, but some of the times are going to be longer than these. I really want to see us change to more like 12, 24-hour time periods, and it's really more about come back tomorrow and get your 10 bars so that you could do something like upgrade your Arcanum or upgrade your Forge building, I forget what it's called. What was it called?
Automaton Shop.
Automaton Shop. Awesome.
Clever name.
So we have 3 of these buildings, one that refines stone, one that refines metal, and one that refines wood. And generally you'll want to keep coming back and keeping these things working and going and making stuff for you all the time. And then you can use those resources again for some of the bigger, cooler things that you can make.
Yeah, and so these are harvested from nodes out in the world.
Right.
And so people have been asking a lot about that because previously there hasn't been a good way for us to show what those are for.
Right.
But you can see them if you played the demo at Gamescom or PAX West.
Yeah.
Then those are in there. You can harvest them. You see them pop out.
And we'll
There's
see
a really
those.
cool
And
animation.
we'll see those as we go back out and play in a little bit. But
Yeah,
you
for
get
sure.
these resources just generally playing around in the world. You can spend them on objects in your fort, but you can also use them to refine to get cooler and more important resources as well.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So let's talk about customizing the fort. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this big button right here that says Customize Fort. I'm going to put my character here off in the corner so I don't get stuck inside of something. Boom. So you can see the camera shifts. And now I can move it with WASD. So I'm able to actually kind of pan the camera around the entirety of the fort and see everything within the walls. Everything within the walls is our kingdom.
I mean, this brings back a lot of memories. I worked on The Sims 4 for 3.5 years. And so this brings back a lot of memories of build mode.
Yes.
It definitely doesn't have the full power and strength of a build mode in Sims 4, but it has some of that feeling of I can pick things, place them where I want, and decorate and make this space my own. A lot of these things, especially this decoration list, which right now is obnoxiously long and poorly categorized. We realize that, and we'll be fixing it. But nonetheless, we have a long list of things that you can make. If you click the craft button on there, you can see what it takes to make that thing. Then when you make them, it stores them, so you can have some. You can build a few of them at once, and then you can click on one of them and put them out in the world. So you can click the place button,
hit place,
and then you can just
ooh, look at this.
put it out there.
Cool. And we can rotate them
You can rotate
too.
them around. We're pretty forgiving when it comes to collision. You can see that he's moving around and it's not turning red and saying, no, you can't do that. We're really giving a lot of freedom to the players. We're giving you sharp knives that you can cut yourself with. And in fact, even a little nervous that we want to make sure people make it where other players can run around the level, and then you want to make sure you can run around your level. But that is largely in your hands. To control that.
Cool. So let's take a look at some of these awesome things that we can craft in place. So these are all the ones here under decorations are purely cosmetic.
Right.
They're just for funsies.
Right. We've taken some things from out in the world in our game. We've also made some statues from some of our characters. We've got a lot of ideas of things we've kind of thrown in here. It's still kind of early days for what we should have in this list and what we shouldn't. And the costs are totally temporary. We're still just kind of playing with this. But we've seen some really cool spaces being made within our team, and can't wait to see the kinds of things that you guys will be making as well.
Yeah. So some people may have noticed there's a statue in there that we had at Gamescom and PAX of the 2 goblins stacked up. That's pretty cool. Get a little bit of a real life reference there.
I'm seeing some people asking if we have searching tools and some better ways to be able to access and find things in the list. Honestly, we need that stuff. You're totally right, but we don't have it yet. So we'll still be working on that.
Cool. I'm just going to scroll down here while you're looking. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're going to do our best to answer. Try to keep them focused on the forts, and then we'll get to relic weapons too.
They're asking some good questions in the chat. So one person is asking about basically, yes, you have creative control. That means we also need to be able to report people. So we will have a way to be able to report people for doing things wrong. We also have some ways to kind of check on what your fort looks like without having to pop it open and look at it directly. We'll have some tools to try to help with that. But we still are in a pre-alpha state, so we're still not quite to the point of having to worry about it too much yet. But absolutely, with creative expression, you also have to have some sort of ability to censor and control what people have made.
Yeah. So I just made a really basic box here, but you can see how even though it's simplistic in its design, it still allows for an insane amount of creativity.
Right. And currently, we've opened the doors to just a ton of stuff that you can just build with in the menu from the beginning. We are in the middle of designing and planning more of a metagame around this, about what you might unlock, what might come automatically, how you can earn unlocks, things like that. We are still trying to figure that out. Anthony's talked about some in the chat there. We want there to be some game around it, so it's not simply, hey, I can just build with anything from the beginning. But we do want you to start out with some stuff that lets you build some things and express yourself even pretty early on in your experience.
Cool. I saw a question about where the materials are stored. So that should be here.
Yeah,
yes,
so it's actually, we store your resources, we call those all kind of resources, at the account level, with the one exception of like your skill points. Everything else, like your gold, how many tin nuggets you have, the sandstone blocks, ash planks, all that stuff is an account level saved thing. We currently don't have them taking up inventory space. You don't have to go turn them in. Right, we've made it so far. It's just the easiest version you can imagine. We just store it at your account.
Excellent. That makes it so much easier that it's not taking up bag space.
It is.
It's already on your account.
There's some gives and takes to that. There's some good things about having like this feeling that you brought something back and turned it in can be a good feeling, but we haven't built that. The absolute favorite item amongst our office is the Goblin Target.
I see.
Which was massively used for decorating by almost everyone in some fashion as these placeholder people throughout the town. So those are definitely going to be fun.
He's got some really weird nipples there. I think one of them sliding off his chest.
It's a little crazy. Yeah, there's nothing more fun right now than watching what the goblins have painted up. So that's definitely been part of the fun aesthetic of the goblin area.
Yeah, this guy's super cool.
Somebody's asking if it's possible to invite your friends to your fort. So that's a great question. So what we've got right now, we want to be able to do more than this, but what we have today is if you party with someone, you can open a portal to their fort and go visit it. And so, yes, you will be able to go see your friend's fort directly. Also, as I mentioned earlier, when you're out adventuring, you will come across other people's forts, like in some of the levels, as you're kind of passaging through from one place to another. And those will be, right now, I think just purely random. We'll probably add some more smarts as to which ones, probably helping try to bias towards your friends and guildmates or things like that someday. But right now, I think that's just random.
Nice. So is there a limit to the amount of things that we can place inside the fort?
I think it is a bit terrifying to say this, but currently no. And so there's going to be some, the graphics programmer in the back of my head is screaming at me right now. But currently we have not put a limit on it. We will probably end up having to. There are several ways to do that I think are reasonable, but we just haven't done it. My guess is my guess of if I had to pick a way to do it today, we would do something probably like how The Sims did on console, saying there's some complexity limit for your fort, and we'll just give you feedback about how far along that limit you are. But we don't know yet. We haven't figured out the answer to that. But yes, we are giving people sharp knives right now to cut themselves with.
Excellent. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, so basically, someone's asking if you can go to somebody else's fort, how do you keep people from just getting trapped? Well, the nice thing is, at any time you can open a portal to go back to town or to go to your fort, and it'll appear right next to your character. So even if you're trapped or someone like blocked in the entrance, then they just don't get to walk around and see your fort. You're not going to be like, oh man, I can't play this game because I can't walk around this guy's fort. And on the flip side, they don't get to show off their stuff. Because they didn't get to see it because you blocked it off.
Yeah.
But there's no like long-term consequences to that. And at worst, even if that portal wasn't working, you could shut it down, open again, and you're in town, and you're never trapped, dying in somebody else's fort.
Well, that would be fun and kind of masochistic. Of course, we want people to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
And everybody wants you to check out their fort.
Yeah.
So if you're stuck in a little corner over here, you're not going to be able to see all the fun. Yeah, all the fun stuff that people have played.
Some people are asking about guilds and guild systems and guild halls, and boy, I think that there's great potential there. We have not built the guild system yet, and we see that there's a huge potential for having a shared creative space that the guild can work on. That will be awesome someday. But we haven't made it, and I hate to make promises when we haven't made it. Can we have the fort bigger in size? So we've had a lot of debate and discussion about the size of the fort and how much space is in the fort. This is what we have today as the size. It is currently more than possible to hold all of the gameplay-related things. In fact, all the actual gameplay impacting things that Jared has are up here in this corner. And so there's more than enough room to just decorate the rest of it. We do not want this game to be about like a space pressure saying you can only fit so many of the things you need to win the game or play the game well into your fort. We want it to have plenty of room for creative expression, spreading out with decorations and all that. But I also know that there's never enough space for creative expression, and there's always going to be people, every time, no matter how far apart those walls are, people want to push on the walls. I get it. This is where we are today with one size of fort and one type of fort walls and out exterior. Like someday we'd love to have those walls change and do a bunch of other things, but where we are today is a set outside and a set size of fort to play with. That's what we've got.
And the fort does look really big when I don't have anything in here. I've used a lot of the larger assets, like a bunch of trees, and I've tried to space it so that I fill the space visually. But when the fort is empty, it looks massive.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of stuff that's already here, and that's because he's already built that in here. We actually start you currently with a blank canvas. There's talk of starting a little bit differently from that. We've talked about actually putting some things to make it feel less empty, things that you can remove and just get rid of if you don't want to see it, but at least it doesn't feel like it's just an empty zone to begin with. But as it is, it starts empty and you have to fill in.
Yeah, I think the only things in the fort that are static here, if I remember correctly, is just the wall, of course. And then there's the portal.
Right.
Also, there is this little corner here with this dude and the shared stash.
Correct.
And that's about it, right?
Right. That shared stash is anchored there. It's always there. And there's a guy there that does a whole bunch of quests to kind of explain to you how to work with the fort and how to build things in the fort. And that's where he stands.
Cool.
And you want to make sure you can get to him. You wouldn't want to put something where you can't. That's your own problem, though.
I tried. I wasn't able to put anything on top of him. So you can't just put him in a barrel or something. He's always there.
A lot of questions about fishing. Fishing is definitely a fun thing that's happened in Torchlight in the past. We have not begun work on it. And that's all I can really say about it. Like, I know it's exciting and cool, but there's a lot of game for us to make still. And we're hoping we can get to all the pieces we want to get to.
Cool. So there's actually a couple more tabs. Can we cover some of these guys?
Absolutely.
On the fort
So we did the skills, we did decorations. Yeah. Again, sorry, it's a big giant unsorted list that unlocks everything at once, but nonetheless, that's what we have today. There's the skill stations. So we're showing these two classes that we've announced so far and showing that these are where those stations are for that. Shrines are another thing you can build there. So it's another reason to visit somebody else's area would be to hit their shrine and then go back out and fight. Honestly, we haven't done all the work to make that work well and be fun yet, but that's definitely something I think has a lot of potential. But right now, I think if you hit that shrine and you go in the portal, you'll lose the buff.
Oh, okay.
And so it doesn't really help right now. So we still have work to do there.
Still kind of nice because when you're out in the world and you take damage, then your health bar remains static, and then when you teleport to your fort, then you can use the healing shrine and get back to full. So I noticed that. I put a healing shrine in first thing, and that's really handy. And then here, we'll go back
what
here.
else we have? And then what's the last category?
Shrines, and then
buildings. Right now, this has a few different things in it. We've already seen the sawmill, smelter, and stonemason. Those are the ones that take one type of resource and refine them into another one using calendar time. We have two more. We have the Reliquary and the Mapworks device. Let's do the Mapworks device first. We've already seen this giant thing standing in the corner. It's too big to even fit on the preview section. We have to change how the preview section works because that thing is so ginormous. So the model for this is cool. I think it looks amazing. It's got all this torchlight, magic-y, steampunky thing going on. It's chunky. It's cool. It animates. What it actually does today is it's just the beginning. It's just really a limited, trimmed down version of where this eventually is going to go as a feature. But for where we are, if you click on it, it will open a portal to a Mapworks area. You don't get to pick which one or how, but it'll make a mysterious portal. And if you can look at the description on it, you can see that it's hardcore revive in town. And
there's a tree in the way.
There's a bit of a tree in the way. And what we mean by hardcore in Torchlight Frontiers is two things happen. One, you revive in town when you die, and then the other thing we often do in some of these mysterious areas is we give you life-bound items. Items that are oftentimes more powerful, in some cases not, but items that when you die, they go away. So it's kind of our way of flirting with hardcore with this idea that you have items that are removed when you die. We also have a similar mechanic going on with phase beasts, which have been a big part of Torchlight in the past. And when you kill a phase beast, which is this monster that's out randomly, rarely shows up in the world, it runs away, you kill it, a portal appears, and it'll take you to a phase dungeon. The phase dungeons that use kind of this Mapworksy stuff actually drop, what are they called? They drop special kind of items. Are they prismatic? That's not prismatic. What is it called? Anyway, they drop a different kind of item that is more powerful and life-bound. And those are cool things to use. I find myself power leveling with those, but also nervous I'm going to die as I run around and play.
Yeah, we actually saw a Phase Beast last stream, and
did.
we were fortunate enough to random.
Sean Stone, our lead designer, steps in to give me the right word. Phasic items, and those to me are sometimes some of the most powerful items in the game are ones that are phasic, but again, they go away when you die. So you might want to carry a backup.
Cool.
So that's the Mapworks thing. We're going to do more with Mapworks. We want to give you more control over what kind of area you're going to, what frontier it's in, and that sort of thing. But we haven't built it yet. We're still working on it.
Yeah.
So the lifebound items that are stashed away. Okay, yes. If your lifebound item is in your account stash, it is protected. It does not go away when a character dies. However, if it's in your backpack, in your pet's backpack, or on your person, it does go away when you die. Will you be able to interact with benches and stuff in the fort? Currently, no. We have not done anything for like interacting with like going to sit on the bench or sit on the chair and stuff like that. I think that stuff's got cool flavor and is interesting, but on the flip side, it doesn't really add to the gameplay enough for me to like make that a priority.
Yeah.
Can we defend?
It still looks nice.
Yeah, more good questions. Can we defend our forts? I would love to be able to defend our forts someday. We've been talking about it since the first idea of the forts came out, but we don't have that working yet. It's not a thing we've put a lot of effort into yet, but I could totally see a future where that could be cool and be an awesome thing. It's not what the forts are about today.
Right on. Lots of great questions here, guys.
Yeah, there are lots of great questions about
coming.
Forts. Can you make template changes to change the style of the fort? That would be awesome. I think that there is a lot of creative potential for changing the style of the wall, style of the floor, what kind of environment it's in, the time of day, the music, the atmosphere effects. All those things would be cool. We haven't built any of those, but I think those are great ideas.
Yeah, the fort has gone through a few iterations too.
Yeah.
So
this is, we've definitely gone from kind of a derpy wooden palisade fort to this cooler walled thing. And honestly, we see this is still sort of mid-game fort that you've been working for and earning towards. But right now we've made it the fort. And then eventually we would want to make it where you feel like you're progressing the fort as a whole. But we haven't built that at all yet.
it certainly looks more like a fort now than it did before.
Right. Somebody's asking
if
you could play without building a fort. And the answer is yes, sort of. You get a fort. You don't have to like build the walls around the fort. The fort's just there for you. And there are buildings in the fort that are a necessary part of gameplay. Those skill objects, the count stash. I think that Mapworks is going to become an essential part of playing. In fact, right now that Mapworks building is the only way to really, when you get past the end quest of a frontier, at the end boss of that area, then it's whatever level it's at, you can keep doing Mapworks stuff to keep going past that level and keep going beyond that to get to higher areas. But yes, Anthony, I am repeating some of these things because I can't read and do it all at the same time. It's going to get there.
It's okay. It's fine. New people are tuning in as we go.
New people are tuning in. Anthony's trying to help field questions. We're all going to do our best together. But yes, you will have some of these objects that you do need to work with because this fort isn't just a place for doll housing and creative expression. It is a part of the gameplay of the game. And so you will need to come to and use your fort if you want to advance in this game. And yes, you start with a fort. There's a small quest line. We would love to. We've had all these ideas of the dramatic thing of going and freeing and unlocking the fort and getting that first fort. We haven't built any of that yet. Right now, it's just, hey, welcome. Here's your fort. So that's kind of what we've got now.
Yep. Still alpha build.
Yeah, it's still an alpha build. But we've done that largely because so much of the game rides on this fort being around and being available for you to use. I think
this is so much fun. I just want to build this fort.
Yes, we've had people spending a lot of time and energy on it, and I think building on and layering and doing different things to place stuff in your fort, and I think it's got a lot of great potential. It also gives you some reason to go back out and play again to get more of those harvested resources, so you can place and build more of the stuff you want to build.
Yes. Cool. So any more like final notes on the fort, and then we can move on to relic weapons.
We have had massive dreams for what this fort can be as a feature. We see this as one of the unique differentiating things that it's not just player housing as an apartment that's off a town that no one else can see, but it's really the center of your account progression. It's something other players will run into, and it's something that really represents where you are in the game and what you're doing in this game. We want to do a lot more with it. We have lots of other ideas that my team would love for me to talk about and promise. But I am so hesitant usually to overpromise things that we haven't made yet. So know that we'll be doing more, know that we want to do more, but this is what we've got today, and we're already pretty excited about that.
Right on. All right, cool. Are we ready to move on to relic weapons?
Yeah, so
Sweet.
It's a great segue to what relic weapons is. There's actually a building in your fort called a reliquary, which
we can check
which
out
we
right
can
here.
go check out. It's currently rotating to where you only can see the back of it.
Here's the front.
This was kit bashed together some by Anthony, one of our designers. So he'll want me to apologize for it, and the art team to the art team, because it was not as designed as other things we do. But nonetheless, this is a really important building in the game because this is the center for how you interact with and create and store and use your relic weapons. So let's kind of back up to talking about relic weapons in general, and then I'll talk about how this particular structure in your fort plays along with the relic weapons.
Cool. So we have a relic weapon equipped currently.
Right.
Should I pop up the tooltip and we can kind of go down the list?
Yeah, let me just start really broadly with the what and why,
Sure.
and then we can get to this specific one he's already got with the character. So what we do is, what does Tyler drink before he streams to make his voice go annoying?
What do you have in there?
No, this is tea, and for those who know me, I talk this way all the time. I just have to be shut up and pushed away from many developers so they can get their work done. Okay, so what we've done is we've taken what you think of as a character, all the kind of strategy, advancement, power, skills, things you do in the game, the way you put things together, and we have sliced that up into a few chunks. One chunk is your character class. That has all these skills that you're getting out of that skill object, the things that make a dusk mage, the specific skills they do. Some of those skills are also passive. They're shared across a lot of classes. Some of those passives are just for the class. But that's what makes you a dusk mage. We've also got another part of it, which is the items you carry. And those are things that change between what frontier you go to. You're going to change which items you're carrying because they gain in power separately in each frontier. We then sliced off a big chunk of that kind of stuff and put it into a new thing that we call a relic weapon. So this relic weapon represents power, it has damage, it gives you new functionality, new gameplay, and we expect you to build your skills and your items that you're carrying around the strategies of the relic weapon. So what is a relic weapon?
Yes.
A relic weapon is a weapon you carry in a certain slot that you can use sometimes. Right now, you can use it for 20 seconds, and then you have a minute and a half before you can bring it out again. While you're using the relic weapon's out in your hands. It replaces your normal weapon, which you still have and are using during the rest of the time that you're playing. So he still has a Digitus and a Focus. These are items he gets off of monsters by killing monsters. And then if he wants to, he could swap to that weapon. We can do that. So, and you can swap to that weapon, and when you swap, cool things happen. The moment you swap, all the relic weapons have some area effect thing that they do. Most of them do a buff to other players and yourself that gives you more power in some way that lasts for several seconds. So it's got a multiplayer part. Some of them, as you switch, do a area effect damage thing. I'm going to keep saying this some of and some things do with relic weapons because every relic weapon is different. So I'm going to keep talking through the things a relic weapon could do, but each of them only does some of these things. The relic weapon, when you have it equipped, does a lot of damage and has usually some sort of cool effect or a thing it does that makes you more effective in combat. This one Plagued one in specific does a lot of poison damage, and then eventually, when you upgraded enough levels, it gives you a poisonous gas around you, so that everything around you is being damaged, and then gives you an active skill that you can use to poison monsters and such. That active skill, though, is special in that it is, when you unlock an active skill with your relic weapon, that's something you can slot in to a button and use all the time while you have that relic weapon in your inventory slot. So he'll be able to run around as a Dusk Mage with that Digits and Focus out, just like he is now, and use that active skill, and then occasionally pull out the relic weapon to do even more damage for a while. But that active skill is unlocked for all the time while he's got that relic weapon equipped.
That's incredible. So it's like a massive cooldown that you carry with you.
Right.
It levels up while you're attacking things
yeah, leveling
with it.
up is a whole other part. We remove levels from your character, but we put them onto these relic weapons. And so when you're running around killing monsters, you're still going to see a bar fill up and go ding, which is initially one of the big reasons we added this to the game. We added a whole bunch of other cool stuff on top of it. But that bar down at the bottom that says 7 is his experience bar for the relic weapon. And as it levels up, it gains DPS and power, and all of its affixes get stronger. It unlocks abilities. It unlocks active skills. It unlocks lots of stuff. So you will be playing with these relic weapons all the way through a bunch of content, making them more powerful and finding new gameplay as you go. Let's see if I got any real questions from all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just talked about a bunch of things.
So I think we have another relic weapon here that I have slotted in the reliquary, which I think that's a nice segue.
Right, yeah, we can segue to that. So the reliquary actually does several things. The reliquary is a place where you can make the relic weapons. So you don't find relic weapons out in the world. These are not rare drops that you're looking for. These are things that you craft that take time and dedication and effort to get. You have here in the crafting menu, you can see all the little information about the relic weapons. You can see the ingredients that need to go into making a relic weapon. He's got so much resources, all the numbers are all over each other. It's driving me crazy. But let me walk through the things that it requires to make a relic weapon, because we have some real intentionality around how we've done this. It's going to cost gold. So gold is something you have an account level, you get all the time running around. It'll cost some of those other resources. Some of them will be, but these will be resources that go in the refinery that take calendar time to make. Again, the numbers are temporary, so don't pay too much attention to what the numbers we have on it today. But it'll take calendar time to make those resources. And then, in addition, we put something that you have to get from a particular part of the game. So like Sacred Hardwood is going to be something that you have to go to maybe I'm not sure where it is for sure, but I think maybe like the end of the Goblin Frontier, where you're fighting, where the wood is there. There's a chance to get these more rare drop ones, not super rare. We're not talking crazy, but you need to play a part of the game in a higher area and grind there some to get those. And then the final thing is the Ember Core. That is going to be a drop off of a boss monster that drops fairly frequently. Like we're talking 1 out of 10, 1 out of 8, 1 out of 12 times, something like that. Not one of these 1 out of 100. I'll never be able to get that things. It's something you should be able to get if you dedicate some time and focused on it. And so altogether, this shows a calendar time commitment, a play time in a high level area, and a dedicated fight against the boss to get all the stuff together to craft the relic weapon.
And these are all targetable. So each one of these resources you're going to be finding out in the world.
Right.
Obviously, the hardwood, it requires less. Numbers are temporary here. But yeah, it requires less because it's a rare material, similar to the Ember Core. It's very rare, but this can be targeted. So say that you want this weapon, you can figure out which boss drops this, and you can go and farm that boss until you get it.
Exactly. We need to do more to give that feedback within the UI as to where you can find these things. We don't want to just have a wiki or something explain it all, but I'm sure that will be helpful. But we will get more UI. We'll get more into the UI to show you where to find some of these things, but nonetheless, you have to put them together. Someone's asking about character classes and relic weapons. So we currently have been working on relic weapons. There are the weapon types that all the classes can use. We have some weapon types that are limited per class, like only Dusk Mage gets a Digitus, and only the Forged has a chest cannon. But we have not been doing any relic weapons so far for those. All the relic weapons we've made to date are for everybody. So yeah, some of them I would, for instance, think Plagued One is not so good for the Dusk Mage because it's all about area damage right around you, which for a ranged DPS mage is not necessarily good, but that's the combo you figure out yourself.
Fire Striker, on the other hand, shoots projectiles, fiery projectiles out of your swings.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the weapons that we actually revealed. There are 2 more weapons in here that we haven't revealed yet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's really exciting.
Let's get those out and show them.
Yeah, so we've shown Fire Striker, we've shown Bane and Flaming Destroyer.
Yeah.
And we haven't shown Plague One and Blood Drinker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Blood Drinker's incredible.
Yeah, and in fact, these run a whole gambit because I talked a little bit about what the relic weapons unlock, but there's actually more things they unlock than I've talked about. Fire Striker, actually, when you unlock it, at some level, when you unlock it, it will actually start to fire fireballs every time you swing Fire Striker. And so you'll get like this fan of fireballs coming out, and that's the type of thing it unlocks.
Yeah, we can see that indicated on the UI in the tooltip. Currently it's locked.
Right.
But if we were to have that equipped and level it up to level 5, then we will unlock this passive.
Right. So that is only happens when you have that relic weapon out. In contrast, let's go to one of the other ones. There's we already showed about Bane, which is
Flaming Destroyer.
So Flaming Destroyer is one that gives you an active skill of Sword Smash, which is a thing that brings up a giant sword that comes to the sky and smashes on the ground, does big area effect, and that's something you could do at any time without necessarily having the relic weapon out.
Which I think we've got here.
Here
so
you
I
go.
just switched over.
Yeah, you could just show it now.
So I just equipped it. It does take up one of the active skill slots, but this would not have been available if I didn't have the relic weapon slotted.
Correct.
So there, you can see I leveled this up to level 30 just for demonstration purpose. And then here it is. And I can just press the button and boom, look at that.
Right.
Oh, it's so sick.
And it's got a cooldown on it. You didn't have the relic weapon out.
Yeah,
it
didn't
just has
activate the relic
another
weapon.
thing you can keep working with.
Yep. So that becomes part of my rotation if I choose. And you don't have to use the cooldown of the relic weapon, but you can still use it while the relic is active too.
Correct.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Someone was pointing out the crafting costs seem kind of low. I totally agree. We still have work to do on getting all of these crafting costs across the game balanced. We need to see a lot of players actually playing to see how fast they get various resources and move those crafting costs accordingly. But the main goal here, to be really clear, is that these relic weapons are going to take days to weeks of focused play to unlock. This is not something you get a new relic weapon each night or a couple relic weapons a night and play. That is not the intent. The intent is these are long-term goals that you're working for that once you get, you build a character around. So if the costs are too low to accomplish that, then I'll be asking designers to push the costs up.
Of course, yep. Alpha build, pre-alpha build.
We're still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to cover some of these tooltips.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in here. All of them have a little piece of lore, which is wonderful. You know, for all the lore junkies out there, they want to know a little bit about the weapon that they're interacting with.
This is one of the nice things about the fort is the UI in the fort is a place where we can have more space on the screen and more time to tell stories, show stuff, to celebrate, to have ceremony, and to kind of like have the player really get to interact and get into details of things without worrying about being out in the middle of combat or being fighting. It's a place you can kind of step back and enjoy it.
It's nice and calm. At least I made mine that way.
Yeah.
A nice little serene area for myself to just kind of chill and be able to collect my thoughts and test some of my skills and play with my relic weapons and craft and upgrade.
So somebody's asking about if you have multiple relic weapons. So basically you have one slot for a relic weapon on your character, and then you have the storage here in the reliquary where you can have the other relic weapons. These storage slots are limited, and you can swap out from your character to the ones in the reliquary. But you can't swap out while you're out fighting, and the cooldowns and stuff like that, minute and a half cooldown and stuff is enforced out there. You can't get around the cooldown by swapping or something like that. And if we do, it's a bug and we'll fix it. But the idea is you come to your fort, to your reliquary to swap relic weapons if that's what you want to do, if you want to change them. They can't go on your regular backpack. They can't go to your pet. They get stored here or on your character.
Nice. And then
that reliquary, somebody's asking about between characters. So this reliquary is part of your fort, which is all part of your account. And so any other character you have can go up to the reliquary, grab one of your relic weapons and use it. And all the power and levels and stuff it comes with can go to that other character. It is subject to the same rules as all of our items in the game. If you take a level 30 item and you go down to that newbie level 1 to 2 area, we pull the power all the way down to 3 if it's in the right frontier. But if you obviously you can go up to higher areas, but we bring that power all the way down to just above where the monsters are.
How does that work with the scaling and the unlockable skills? The
skills are still unlocked.
Ah.
So you still have all that extra power, even though you've come to a newbie area. You still can do sword smash because you unlocked it in the newbie area. You still have that power, but we did pull all those damage numbers down, so at least you're playing and not just doing like area effect, kill everything on screen with one hit. And you don't get to break the game necessarily.
Yeah, going from 25 DPS to 15,000 DPS.
Yeah, this is a good example of why we pull the level down when you go somewhere else, because in a place where 25 DPS is powerful and awesome, you're fighting tough monsters that have all the way up to like 100 hit points or 300 hit points. And if you bring your 15,000 DPS weapon there, then there's no game. And so this is why we pull the levels down on things.
Yeah. And we can kind of see how much damage these are doing too, and how epic these weapons are.
Right.
Where I have like level 21 weapons here, the Digitus, and it's only magic quality, but still, this is doing 243 DPS, and this relic weapon, level 30, still much higher level. That's a much higher level, but you can see how that scales up. And also, this is 2 different weapons, so
and
you
they're
kind of combine them,
magic,
and they're magic, and they're not like the legendary.
Yeah, in general, we've tuned the relic weapons separately from the other weapons, such that they start out around where the rare weapons are going to be for early levels, but then they surpass even kind of the legendary items as you get to higher levels, so that they still become relevant and important through the game. Someone was asking if you can have if multiple characters can use the same relic weapon. They can't have it equipped at the same time. Like literally, when your character grabs that relic weapon and puts it in their inventory, it is holding it, and other characters can't get to it. You'd have to put it back into your reliquary and then have the other character go grab it out of the reliquary, just like you would do with any item in your account stash. You can't just go grab the sword from your forged when you've got a Dusk Mage. That forged has to put away the item into the account stash, and then the Dusk Mage can get it out of the stash. Same thing, but for relic weapons.
Excellent.
Yes, the reason we do this power scaling thing is because we want the whole game to be relevant. We should probably have kinks to work out and things to make sure it still works that way. But the goal is that the whole game is still relevant to the player. We drop gold at a consistent rate across the game. We drop wood and stone and metal and all that stuff at a consistent rate across the game, because we want to reward you for your time and make sure no matter where you go, you're getting the resources that you need about the rate you would. It could be you've got level 30 here and you're playing a level 13 area and you're getting level 13 item drops, but at least you're getting the gold and the resources that you were looking for.
Cool.
So we've come to River Run. This is an area we have not streamed before. It was not in the demo at PAX or at Gamescom, so we wanted to kind of show a new place that we hadn't really shown. It's nighttime, so we've got a lot of the night monsters coming out, some of our tougher monsters.
Ooh, yeah, these guys are rough.
These guys, he's playing a level 21, 20 area. Most of his gear is about this level, so he's got about the right level stuff.
Ooh. I disabled the pet earlier, so I may have to re-enable that.
Yeah, you may have to summon
DPS
your
a little
pet.
bit. Okay, no, I'm just gonna man mode it.
Yeah, I can give you. There's a cheat to bring that pet back.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Let's see if I can do this. I want to
just at least get a little space, but then we can bring it. It's always good to have a pet, though.
Yeah.
So if you hit tilde,
here we go.
For the viewers at home, you won't be able to do this, but this is fun for us because we cheat all day.
Yeah.
You want an alpaca? Then we do that.
Let's go with the owl.
Yeah, we have some things on that list there that
cool.
Careful viewers will see. We don't have all the pets enabled yet, but that is, we're just turning on things as we have them ready. Some of the stuff, some of the pets in that list, honestly, are just not even ready, are not finalized asset-wise and ready.
They didn't get to see it. I hid that from them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
they don't get to see the secrets.
Were.
We haven't revealed those guys yet. You've seen all the pets we have in the game.
So that sword
currently.
skill is pretty nuts. Some people are excited about sword skill. Yeah, that actually, for us, it is the new high bar for our whole skill team of what a powerful skill should feel like and look like. And so I'm hoping we get a whole lot more of that kind of cool feel in the game with other ones. I will also say, in general, we have we're showing, while some cool relic weapons, we have some even more amazing ones to share over time. This is really just the beginning of the journey of showing you what relic weapons can do.
Yeah, these are just a few that we've revealed, and of course they can be expanded on in the future too.
Right. Oh yeah, this is part of the reason we sliced off part of that character and pulled it over into this relic weapon as a thing for you to strategize around, get power around, and just generally build your character and power around and take on a journey of levels, is because we wanted to be able to add this new ways to play to the game in a significant way without having to have you go have a whole new character, which is a ton of work for us to make a whole new character. Instead, we can put out these relic weapons that both change the game and give you some important choices, but also don't cause us to make an entire character.
And so we can see how this thing shreds too.
Yeah, he's got it out now, and he's just
stacking
swinging
up attack speed. Oh, okay. I'm good.
Yeah, he's got it out now. And this particular relic weapon has good DPS, but it's not. Most of its power comes from the fact that you get that sword slam, and isn't as powerful in the moment of it being out and working as some of the other relic weapons.
Still very good. It is leveled up.
Yeah,
so it did a lot of work for me.
Power. It is absolutely the case that I think it's a slightly more advanced feature for players to remember that they have a relic weapon and to bring it out when the cooldown's down at the right time when there's a bunch of champions to fight. I can go oftentimes 5, 10, 20 minutes of playing and forget that I have a relic weapon. We have reminders and things that try to call attention to it, but honestly, it's still kind of a metagame thing to understand of like, oh wait, I need to bring out my relic weapon. That big purple thing that went there to the thing is one of our ways of bringing your attention back to the fact that the relic weapon's there. This is a whole nother button to hit to switch the relic weapon. One subtle thing I didn't describe is when you swap to the relic weapon, you actually can also swap back to your regular weapon if you want. During that 20 seconds, you can go back and forth freely. But at the end of that 20 seconds, we put you back in your relic weapon, your regular weapon, no matter what. So if you happen to be a character, the strategy is sometimes I want to use relics, sometimes I don't. There's something better about my regular weapons, then we help support that.
That's excellent. So I just went ahead and switched the relic weapons.
Yep.
The last one was at level 30, so it's not going to level up anymore. At least,
Right.
numbers are totally able to be tuned. That's just
and this
the
one's going to
cap
be
that we have
pretty
it now.
weak. He's level 7 relic weapon in a level 21 area. So it will have some powers it gives you, but it's not going to kick ass with its own DPS like other things would.
But you can see that it was about halfway leveled up. So the more things I kill, you will see the progress bar at the bottom start to increase. And it already just went up a little notch.
Right. Just like with gold and resource drops and stuff, we try to drop a consistent rate across the game. The same thing goes for experience. We're not giving more experience for killing higher level monsters. We're just giving you experience for tougher monsters versus easier monsters across the game.
So relic weapons are sort of the traditional way to level, like a vertical progression.
Right.
And the gear system is a horizontal progression.
Right. There is a vertical progression with each. One thing I've seen people getting confused when we've talked about the frontiers in the past and this horizontal progression is I think some people in their mind are imagining that each of the areas, like the goblin area, is just like an evening's worth of play or maybe a couple evenings worth of play. When in fact, there are many, many nights or weeks of play to be had here in the Goblin area. It is a place that has like a lot of quests, a lot of places to play through, a lot of different kinds of monsters, and you will reach a point where you're like, I'm having fun with Goblin, but I want to just try something else in this game, and then you can go try out the bug area and try a different place. But it's not like you're going to reach a point in the game where you, like, in the first week or a couple nights, you're just like, well, I'm totally done with this goblin thing. Now they're forcing me to go to the bug area. That's just not how the game works. The idea more is that you are going to be playing Goblin a lot and then decide you want to go play somewhere else, and you just need to swap to different gears when you do that.
I'm going to die here. Oh, I'm dead.
Looks like, you're dead.
All right. I got surrounded. I decided to run in. That was no good.
So there's some people asking about elemental armor and things. And so, yes, the monsters that you have here have Well, actually, they don't have elemental armor on the monsters. Very good, specific question. We generally, I've tried to avoid the idea of there being resistances on monsters so far, because it does definitely have a feeling of you're playing the game wrong if you're not using this element or that element. We might still bring it back. We absolutely have the power to do that easily, but we just, for now, have that turned off.
But like we discussed in the horizontal progression live stream and in the blog post, getting the gear from this frontier will give us resistances to the damage that the enemy does.
Absolutely.
So we can see here in the tooltip, if you guys didn't watch the last stream, you can definitely go to our YouTube and check all that stuff out, and just kind of a brief overview. You can see that there's a little goblin icon right there in the middle.
Right.
And below that is fire defense.
Right.
And that's a big thing. The goblins generally do fire damage, so we want the defense against that element.
And some of the undead do fire as well. Some of the goblin will do physical. We basically want to keep it down to 2 elements and basically 2 different kind of monsters for any frontier as far as what the monsters do. So here we have fire and physical, and we have goblins and undead in this frontier. In other frontiers, it'll be something like poison and physical, as well as with like the Vespid monsters and undead. We're going to make it where you're not having to balance and even out 8 different armor types or 6 different armor types, but instead you're really making significant choices between a couple things.
Nice.
Some people are asking about like how far I can go in a frontier and kind of like what level caps and stuff. We currently have a level cap at 30 in our frontiers and have items that go up to there. One of the cool things about the Mapworks device, what we saw earlier in the stream, where there's this built thing in your fort that you can click on and get a Mapworks portal. Oh, look at that!
Whoa!
Those are moss rats of unusual size, and they're boss
unusually
ones.
sized.
Oh God!
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a legendary. It's a legendary.
Oh,
there's
geez.
not many of those. And that
This
guy
is
looks
completely
2 weeks.
randomized too. There's no way
we
that
didn't
could
plan
have scripted
that.
this. Yeah. Look at that.
And he's way too weak.
I'm shredding him. Yeah.
All right, Anthony, Sean, we gotta boost up the rodents at legendary, because that's just no, that's too easy. That was all scary and exciting, and then it died.
I got a lethal great blade. Let's check this thing out. Ooh, okay, that's pretty
good.
nice. That's pretty nice.
And you
Check
get some
that
health
out.
on
Whoa!
it too. Does it also give you some health? Health on killing a Hyvid. Why is that on there?
It's okay.
Why do I have a Hyvid?
It encourages me to go to
We
the
have
Hyvid
bugs.
frontier.
We're working on
It's
it.
a bug?
Yeah, we need to fix that. Oh, we don't want that. But look at that weapon. It looks kick-ass.
Yeah, that is super cool. Look at that thing.
I don't think I've seen that thing.
That's a great model.
That's so exciting.
Oh, it's kind of scary though. I don't know if I want to get into melee
Rods
to
of the
attack,
Gang
but
came up with a ton of new weapons recently have come in the game, and it's so exciting to see what they can do. Oh, you're just trying to kite them away.
Yeah, I want to kite them away.
No,
I don't want to
they're
die.
getting healed. They're getting healed.
What are they getting healed by?
I think
There's
the
a shaman
damage
in the
over
back?
time stuff. This build has some. We've been fixing bugs and stuff, and I believe this is one of our bugs we had for a little while of damage over time things actually healing monsters. Due to some of my code changes, it's all my fault. But nonetheless,
Okay.
It's been fixed since.
I'm in trouble. Okay, no, we're good. We're good.
Let's see, any other questions I can ask?
Yeah.
There'll be dynamic events and frontiers. So there's a lot of ways to interpret what a dynamic event could be. We have ideas of some really cool types of what you mean by a dynamic event that we haven't done, but some of the things we have done are like having the phase beast show up and take you to a new adventure that's in a new place with all those properties of like monsters that have double health or lethal and extra luck and higher level item drops, all that cool stuff. We also have just these monster spawn things that come out, but we haven't done quite all of the like set piece fight things that we would love to do someday.
But yeah, as we've seen just in the last couple streams, there are some crazy random elements out in the world where you just find like a legendary boss monster out in the world, or we find the phase beast, which we did last stream, and we get into a dungeon.
Random things happen that we didn't plan on.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just, you're out in the world.
Don't forget, you have the relic weapon. People are reminding us that we're
I know.
trying to show off the relic weapon.
I want to get it leveled up
What
because
is
I
it?
think it's
You're not going to get it leveled up fast.
at level 8.
Look, but you're not going to get to level 21 in this stream.
At least at level 8, I can show the new passive.
We have tuning problems, but it still doesn't mean it's going to be that fast.
I don't know if it's even that.
I can help you cheat the level up.
Yeah, it's 88. Yeah, maybe we'll just go ahead and cheat the level up. So
Ember weapon level.
Yeah.
No, back. No.
Here, it's
right after weapon. No, none of these guys can do this. It's set level. There you go.
There we go. I'll just
just
level it
level
up
up.
once.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Okay.
All right,
so
we leveled it up.
You can see what happens when it levels up. You get a nice little
Yeah.
pop-up that says, hey, you've unlocked a new thing. So what we did is we went from level 7 to level 8, and we've unlocked now the new level 8 passive. It spawns a gaseous cloud that poisons enemies for 50% weapon damage when you kill them with this weapon.
So to be clear, it's passive in the sense that you can't put it in your action bar, but this is not a passive you can put in your skill slots. It's not that kind of passive. It is a, when you have this weapon out, here's a new cool thing it does. Some relic weapons do unlock a passive that can go into your passive slot and is really powerful and cool for what it does there. Just not this one.
Yeah.
Like I said, each of these relic weapons has its own cool, different thing going on. And so I think, so the idea is kind of to learn what that is, figure out a strategy that works around it. This one,
they're healing so much.
They're healing. Well, I think
kill
this
it.
has the damage over time is actually doing the wrong thing going on. And you've got level 7 item fighting level 21 monsters, which
That's
should
true.
not do anything, hardly at all.
Let's switch out the relic weapon. We'll see about getting another one. So I can just portal back to the base. We'll go back to the fort. We're going to switch the relic weapon. I want
Yeah.
to check out the...
The bugs.
No, it's okay. It just takes a little bit to load.
It takes a little while for things to load in.
Our computer's kind of struggling here. It's a little bit older.
There's that, and Guy has a fix for that that we've done recently. Just hasn't gotten in this build. We're still actively fixing things as fast as we can, guys. We're trying our best.
So while you're looking at the chat for questions, you'll notice that the sword smash, it's kind of grayed out because I don't have that relic weapon equipped.
Right.
So it still sits there.
Yeah, you can't be
you can't
using
use
an
that.
active skill from another relic weapon while you're out there. You can't just pile these things on. You have to have the relic weapon equipped in order to use that skill that it unlocks. Phase Beast, some people are asking about how Phase Beasts work as far as parties and such. I do know your party members can use the Phase Beast portal. I don't know how generous we were about just people nearby getting the Phase Beast portal. I can't recall. At minimum, we tend to have a strategy of like you have to have done at least enough damage to get kill credit for something, but I don't know how that applies to Phase Beast right now. That's a good question though.
Cool. So we've been live for just over an hour. So if we have any final questions, we can go ahead and wrap that up.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, you guys, we've been asking great questions so far. We've really been trying to answer as many of them as we can. So if there are any final questions about relic weapons or forts, now's the best time to ask them because we can actually show you if you have questions about something that we can, about the weapon, and I can pull out that weapon and we can show you what happens when you activate it, or about moving things around your fort, etc.
Right. I think let's see if we can cover some more questions now. One question people are asking is whether we have some of these models are from previous Torchlights. We don't actually directly use any of the assets from previous Torchlights. We can, but we haven't. We have a whole different way of making how things look and fitting our new art style and stuff like that. However, we did do, I believe, many of our shields are straight out of Torchlight 2 as far as what they look like. We literally turned our outsourcing team and said, look at that wiki, see what those look like from our previous game, just make those.
That's great.
So that's cool. I don't believe that weapon is just modeled off a Torchlight one, but it might be. Roz, one of our tech artists, has got this great way of making cool varieties of weapons and mixing and matching things to make awesome looking weapons. And I bet you it's one of those, but I don't know for sure.
Either way, that's a nice throwback.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen a similar weapon in the past, so of course it's going to be a relic weapon.
The relic weapons themselves are all completely new things. They are not, the relic weapons themselves are things that we have designed specifically to be kind of that upper, better, cooler looking weapon that kind of breaks some of the rules and looks a lot better than the other things that you're going to find dropping in the game.
Whoop. There we go.
Some people are asking about if there's going to be an offline Torchlight. This is the only Torchlight PC game that I know of being worked on. I don't think there's anything else going on. It's an online game. Online games are kind of the way of the world now. You can't even say airplane mode because I haven't been on an airplane without Wi-Fi in years, and I've gone on a lot of airplanes. So most people have internet connection, and this is a way you can play Torchlight with an internet connection.
And we really want to push that shared world experience.
Yeah.
Too. There's a lot of people out in the world, and we want you interacting with them. The world feels alive that way. Play with your friends.
The economy feels like it counts because it's on a server and you can't just hack your character. It's a place you can run into other people, show off your fort, show off your character, show off your stuff. the accomplishments feel real because it's in a place that has kind of a safe, non-hack environment. That's why it's an online game.
Yeah. I think my gear is a little bit too low quality. I'm struggling a tad.
Some people are asking if you can play solo. So there's actually parts of the game that are private, and there's parts of the game that are public. So the towns themselves are public places where lots of people are going to be running around. You can see them in their awesome costumes. Outside the towns, we have public areas as well that go in a big chain through the areas of the game. Those public areas will have currently up to 8 people roaming around within them. And then off of there's a lot of different side levels that are for private play that have quests and things that you and your party can go and do. And the monsters in those private areas don't respawn. Don't leave the blue behind.
I have to.
No.
I don't want to waste the time on the
the
relic weapon.
You gotta go back and clean up later.
Yep.
It's true. There's a tension there. Some people are having, what's the trigger for the spawning of monsters? Great question. It's a mystery in some ways. There's a lot of complexity going on behind the scenes as to when we spawn what monsters and how. It's something we still wrestle with ourselves of getting that formula just right. There's some of the magic theory behind how like the drama manager worked in Left 4 Dead. It heavily influenced how we decided we do it. There's also just general things that we do with triggers and stuff. So if you run around, there's a few different techniques combined here. But the basic idea is you have an ebb and flow of monsters, so it's not like just constant, relentless attacks. And you want it to still have enough that when you're multiplayer and there's lots of players running around, that there's stuff to do. Someone keeps asking the same questions about public events, dynamic events. Events can mean many things to many different people. We don't have in the sense of like, here's a named event that happens at this place with this triggered sequence of activities. We have not put that in. So we have a lot of places laid out with different things that trigger as you run through them, but we don't have like you've entered this named thing and now we're going to take you through this named sequence of stuff. It's still kind of the random, who knows what's going to happen kind of world. We have not announced any mobile things. We talked about mobile in the past being not something we're focused on. We already have so many platforms for our small team, I would really hesitate to take on another platform.
Yep. So currently PC,
PC,
yep.
Xbox,
and Xbox One and PS4.
And PS4, which, for our tiny team, that's still a lot to take on.
Yep.
How many classes we plan to introduce? Well, the fun things about classes are they're really fun to announce. They get a lot of people's attention. We put a ton of work into them. And so every time we talk about class, we want it to be a big, specific, exciting event. And so we really hold our cards close about what and how many classes we have, if we can, so that when we announce it, it's something that you guys are really looking forward to and really dig in for. So I can't give away a whole lot about classes.
Classes are a pretty major feature too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when we get ready to announce future classes, then definitely you guys will know.
You'll
We're
know.
going to blast that on our social channels. It's going to be a really big thing for us.
Absolutely. It's going to be big news. It'll be a big thing we're doing. But I can't tip my hand on that any more than what I just did. So class question denied. Yes, sorry about that. We will have more though. I'll say that. It won't be 2 classes. I think that's a fair one to say,
yeah.
Especially given the amount of speculation people already have about it.
These shotgunners are crazy. These gunner goblins.
Oh yeah, we've gotten a few
they
new
do a lot of
monsters in the game. The gunner goblins and there's the new shamans are here with the big fireballs, and they res more often.
Yeah,
they res a lot more often than the other
so you
ones.
really got to prioritize those guys, or else you just get overwhelmed.
There's a bunch of new goblin guys as you're further into the game here. We've been trying to take the monsters we have and really create some meaningful variety across the frontier as you advance through it. Will certain classes have specific items for the fort? Yeah, so if, for those who are tuning in a little bit later, each class does have a building in the fort that relates to how their skills and stuff work. If you want to understand more about how that works, I suggest going back to kind of pretty early in our broadcast.
Yep, and you can also go and check out the ARC forums or Reddit, where we have a blog post about the forts and relic weapons too. And we'll be able to upload this whole VoD up to YouTube, so you can catch it there, or you can just go back and watch it on Twitch.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
any other questions, guys, about relic weapons or forts that I can help answer?
Cool. I think we're just about getting down on time, so maybe like one or two final
final questions, and then I think we
have. Check out this.
more to talk about. Let me double check that no one is telling me not to do this. Honestly. Is Tyler going to make the announcement? I think I am. Let me tell Max. I think so.
What's that, guys?
Green light. I have a green light from Max. Okay.
Okay, so you guys
Any last
stick
question
around.
before we go? Anything? I don't think, and no one's it said, can we earn stuff from others entering your fort? We would love eventually to have you earn stuff when other people visit your forts. That's one of our favorite features to talk about, but we haven't made it yet, so I don't like to overpromise. It's an idea that I think would be great. Okay, so we have, this is terrifying. We have a special announcement to make today. We're going to go into alpha soon. How soon? In 1 week, a week from tomorrow, is going to be our alpha test. Yeah, it's so exciting. It's terrifying. To be honest, it's still a little rocky trying to get the build together. We're still trying to get to where we can test it and make sure we have the real thing and that it's working. We're terrified. We're doing all we can to make it work. But the alpha is supposed to start on the 16th of November. It will go through the weekend. And it'll be on for 24/7 for those 3 days, assuming we don't have a horrible experience that we have to turn it off. And we're very excited to be able to bring that to you.
Yeah.
We will have more details coming. I think we even will be picking randomly from some of the people watching this stream. We'll be picking 10 winners to get keys.
Yes.
To be able to get into the test. The goal of the alpha is to get a lot of players play at the same time to kill our servers. And so we know what kills them and how quickly it kills them and how many people it takes to kill them so we can fix.
Yes.
People will be getting invites specifically to do it. This is not an open test. This is an invite-only test. And it will be, our current plan is that it's not fully NDA'd, but we're asking people not to share media. This is not something we want people streaming yet or sharing screenshots or videos from, but you will be free to talk about it.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to get into a lot more of the detail of what this game is. And it's part of the reason that we keep revealing pieces of this game, because we knew we were coming up close on it. The team has been working so hard to be cleaning, polishing, fixing, and improving all the stuff around the edges so that we can get you this alpha. But it's still going to be a rough ride. We really appreciate your patience and understanding. We want people to look past some of the bugs and issues, look past some of the tuning, and give us the feedback of the core of what this is. The reason we are doing this, the reason we are putting an alpha out so early, and so we have enough time from now until when we have things open to really change and improve the game with your feedback. Watching what you're doing, hearing what you're saying, and make the game better. We'll be there in Reddit, we'll be there in Discord, we'll be listening to you, talking to you as we have been for weeks and weeks, and we will be trying to figure out what's wrong, what's working, and how to move this game forward to something that everyone in this community likes. Not everyone. As many people as we can likes, we can't satisfy everyone.
Of course,
I won't promise that.
But community feedback is going to be a big thing for us.
Absolutely.
So if you guys check in chat, it's probably popping up right now. I just posted a link. I just published this blog, so that has a lot of information about what you can expect to see in alpha. Like Tyler's been saying, this is like a huge moment for us.
Yes.
We're really excited to be able to finally announce that we're going to be having a closed alpha, and a lot of you can play. So while you're doing this, while we're kind of explaining a little bit more about what you can expect in alpha, go ahead and get your Arc launcher up, because I'm going to be dumping some codes into chat. So whoever's quickest on the draw is going to get a random key.
No, don't do that.
No random keys. Okay,
not that way.
We want to capture each person.
We want to control when we put a key out.
Okay.
Because our servers and stuff aren't ready yet for people to be taking keys. We don't want them playing before it's time.
Oh yeah, they won't be able to play anyway. But when you activate it onto Arc, you will see that Torchlight Frontiers is there. You won't be able to install it or anything yet.
I'm still nervous about all that.
Okay, all right.
We will randomly get you keys. We've got your contact stuff from being in the chat, I think, and we can send them to you.
Okay, yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah,
okay, let's wait and do that. We'll get you on the list.
I won't do it randomized then. We'll be picking people out of chat.
Yeah. Honestly, we're still a little nervous on pulling the trigger. Even today, we were like, oh my God, are we really, really ready?
Okay.
We're scared. And one of the things we do have control over is when we send all the keys out. And so we're kind of holding back until that's the right time.
Cool.
Yes, you will be using the Arc Launcher to be playing this in. It's all through the Arc Launcher. We've been using that through development for like 15 months. There's all sorts of things that it does for us.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the link here in chat again. Make sure you guys check that out if you're looking for more information on the alpha.
Right.
If you missed anything from the stream, you can go back and watch the VoD. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube.
Right.
If you want more information about Relic Weapons or Forts, then we have blog posts on those, which are on Reddit, and they're on Arc too. So if you're hitting that post for alpha, then you should be able to check that out. And absolutely be sure to check us out on our social channels, which we've got links for everywhere. You know, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter @PlayTorchlight for all the information, more details on alpha.
We will let you know. You will get your alpha keys in the email at some point when we're ready to release them. They'll come by email.
Yes.
They will not come to everyone. We will let you know when they've gone out. Good luck. I hope you get to play.
Yes. So that'll be next week. Remember, the alpha, for the starting date is scheduled to be November 16th, barring any horrible interruptions.
We will try to be open about what's going on and our fears and worries and concerns as we get closer to there. We're really hoping it all works.
Yes. So cool. I think that just about wraps it up. It's really exciting that we've finally been able to announce alpha. We have the information out there. Be looking for your keys in email next week, and we'll have a lot more information and details about the specifics of alpha coming in the next week or so.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, because it's a week from tomorrow.
It's a week from tomorrow. It's coming up real soon. So cool, I think that just about does it for the stream. So myself, Jared, Perfect World Community Manager, and Tyler, the Extra Project Lead on Torchlight. Any final closing words?
It's been a pleasure to be working with you guys. I'm glad we had this chance to be able to talk with you, hear your questions, give you those answers. Find us in Discord, find us in Reddit, engage, discuss. Let's make this a great game.
Yep. So definitely let us know what you guys thought about the stream today. Hit us up in Discord. That's like, we have the devs in there, and we're always watching Discord. It's a great way to interact with us directly. And of course, we have the community run Reddit too, which is awesome. It's just Torchlight. And then our social channels @PlayTorchlight. So cool, I think that just about does it. So all right, and we'll see you guys in Alpha. Wait till we're out.